Google Pixel Fold leaks and rumors. Jon Prosser just had the video. He had the leak. What he says is a high confidence leak of the device. So full marks to him if he's correct. Link to that video will be in the description. We are using some of his images, which on the video he does give permission to do. Worth having a discussion about either way. If what my vision of what I'm seeing is correct, then I am a little excited about it. I'm more excited than I typically thought I would be. I kind of thought they'd be doing, not a knockoff of they're obviously not going to do a copy of the Fold 4 or what Samsung is already doing, but it is nice to see them take their own stylistic swing at what a foldable should be. So May 2023 is the rumored release date, $17.99, which I have no problem with. Unfortunately, it's still with these folds, they're expensive. When you're talking about ones that are going to compete with a Fold 4, that's a competitive price. They're going to have to stay in the same market. They play on the same ball field that everyone else does, so that's going to have to be a competitive price to stay there. So $17.99, even though you would hope for $15.99 or something like that, but that's where it is. But I like the fact that they seem to have gone. We'll throw the images up now as I'm talking over this so we can get some perspective here on what I'm looking at. It seems like they've gone for a cross between the Fold 4 and the Surface Duo. It's almost like they took the screens of the Surface Duo and they connected them. They basically melded that middle part, made it one big screen, kind of kept the bezels to give it that tablet feel to it. So I don't mind the bezels on these big foldable phones. When you need, especially it's an expensive device, when you're dealing with your Fold 4, open it up, make sure there's nothing on here. See, it's nice to have a little bit of border here to hold on to make sure you have a secure grip of the device as you're using it, especially if it's going to be as wide as these images suggest, almost like that of a regular tablet, or at least the 16:9 aspect ratio that it looks like there. You're going to want a little bit extra to hold on to it. So I don't think that's the end of the world to have some bezels there, have the camera, have whatever else. Maybe Sony's making a comeback, never know, in the bezel there, but I don't mind that at all. But I do like the fact that it's a wider experience where you're going to have the what seems like the equivalent of the Surface Duo 2 displays, but instead of this mechanical hinge that they have in the middle that Microsoft chose to go with, they're just going to have the one big foldable display. Interesting. I think it's along the same lines as that Oppo Find N device as well, having the larger outer display. I like that the code name or the internal name was Google Passport. Interesting. Loved my Passport. The BlackBerry fans that watched this channel back in the day, it would be cool if they kept that same name. But what also that tells me is that the front screen, from what it looks like on the top-down image, we'll see if I could share that one as well here. The top-down image looks like a larger Passport or Surface Duo-esque outer display, except instead of just the glass that you have here with the Surface Duo, an actual display there, and then you fold it open for that wider 16:9-esque experience in there that you'd get with a regular tablet that you might expect coming up. If it's running Android 12L or 13L, whatever the equivalent is at the time, that would be pretty cool as well. And I think it's different enough from the Fold 4 to give us some variety there and finally some competition. Listen, I love the Fold 4. Fold 4 is my favorite device of the year by far. Love it. Love the changes they made. Love how easy they made it to use one-handed now with that extra little space that they give you on the outer display. I love the engineering of the hinge this year. Totally solid. Love that they slimmed it down. Just love the look, the aesthetic of it, the way that the squared off kind of that they went with last year with the Fold 3, but they've kept with here with the Fold 4. It's great. But you know what? Here in the United States, Samsung needs a competitor. Needs some competition. The Vivo X Fold and the Oppo Find N and stuff, they're great devices. They're fantastic. Not here in the United States. Samsung still, it hasn't come out yet, needs a direct competitor in the foldable market to push them here in the United States. And if that means that next year on a Fold 5 or more likely a Fold 6, that we have that much better of a product because they're being pushed, then all the better. And I got to tell you, Google, I hope these leaks are true. And I'll tell you what, as bad as companies don't like leaks sometimes, I know Google sometimes leaks their own products to kind of get ahead of this stuff. But Jon Prosser did Google a favor in my mind by releasing this information, because before I wasn't excited. Now, if I'm a consumer and I'm looking at a Fold 4, I might wait. I might kind of keep my powder dry. I might hold off and wait to at least see what Google announces when it comes to their Pixel Fold device, because I think it offers enough of a competitive advantage there, or at least enough of a competition, that at the same price or a similar price, I'd be willing to hold off on this as the overall champion, the one that automatically gets my money, to at least see what Google has up their sleeve. Because if you're somebody that went to a Fold device, if you're someone who had used Pixels in the past, you know they're going to add their little Pixel experience stuff in there. You know they're going to add their little extras. They're going to have Tensor in there. They're going to hopefully spec it right. You know, not come in at 6 gigs of RAM or something like that, or, sorry, Microsoft, 6 gigs of RAM and 64 gigs of storage. They know better now. The one thing, Google has learned their lesson hardware-wise now and spec-wise, giving you what you're supposed to have gotten. At least a respectable baseline for that. I also like, I'm trying to find my Pixel, I also like what they did with the back of the device. I love the looks of it. I wish they had gone with that design that we see there for the Pixel 7 Pro, where you don't have the metal here. You kind of have that white out design that they have at the top there that makes it, it doesn't look plastic if it's glass or if it's ceramic or whatever the material they happen to use on there is. I do like that design a lot. I think it's spectacular. I think they're really honing in their design. If they could keep their software running well, if they could keep it, you know, relatively cool temperature-wise, the Tensor 2, and optimize it, it's great to see somebody coming in with something a little bit different here in the United States that would challenge the Galaxy Fold 4. And if it's this form factor, but just one display and an outer display, I think that's a winner. Viewing emails on this aspect ratio, writing stuff, when you have two apps open, you want more of that tablet-esque experience where I could easily, comfortably keep two apps open on this of the Surface Duo and get full screen, good experiences at proper aspect ratios that honor the feeling of both of those devices. Don't really have that with the Fold 4. It's closer, it's better multitasking than it has been in the past, but it's still not to this level of multitasking. So if you could just combine these screens, keep this same general feel, and to be able to have two full up open apps on either side, I think Pixel's got something that can at least give the Fold a run for its money, if not beat the Fold in usability when it comes to these glass folding devices that we seem to like so much these days. And they are cool. And it'll be nice to see. And it's beautifully designed. You can see the picture beautifully. If that's something that they did, and Google's actually going to release that, I'm impressed. I got to say, I'm impressed. And I'll certainly look forward to get my hands on it and get one in here if that's what they choose to go with. That is indeed correct. Let me know what you would need on a Pixel Foldable. If you're a Samsung Fold owner, let me know something that might lure you away from the Samsung ecosystem when it comes to foldables. It might get you using a Pixel Fold. If you're a Pixel user, what is something that would make you want to try a Pixel Fold as opposed to just keeping your glass slab Pixel, all that stuff. If you've made it this far, like, comment, subscribe, all that fun stuff. Until next time, have that Steve-licious day.